The time that I dated a guy that was a freshly out of prison ex-con. I should have ran because he could have been sending this man to kidnap me or anything, y'all. In my mind, I'm thinking they want to hook up with me because they think I got money to blow the casino. But baby, a lot of us, we lived life on the edge. Like, we was just stupid as hell. What's up, family? It's your big sis T Renee, and I am back today with another story. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Hey, I'm hoping that one day you find something on this platform that resonates with you and make you want to come back and subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber or a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know y'all are here for a story time, and that's exactly what I want to give you. But before we get to that, y'all go ahead, drop down below in the comment section, leave a hey girl, hey, what's up, big sis? All comments are welcome and greatly appreciated. Just make sure y'all keep them respectful. So as you all have seen the title, you have some idea of what this story is going to be about. So family, let's get to that story. What's up, family? I know I've been a little behind my videos, but here I am, and I'm hoping y'all stay and tune in. And y'all just have to forgive me for being so late with my videos. It's just that I've been really working a lot and just trying to take care of some things. So it's been throwing me off my schedule, but all I can do is try my best to get back into routine of things. But we're here for a story. We're not going to dwell on what has happened and what haven't happened. We're going to get to the story time. So, y'all, I am feeling away, baby. Y'all, I have drunk this kombucha. Like, I've tried different flavors, you know, just to be trying something different. I mean, most of y'all know that I make my own juices, but I just wanted to try something different. You know, I'm not big on buying sodas and things like that, but this is only 50 calories, and it's like a ginger ale. But y'all, this shit got me over here hot. Whew, it got me feeling away like I done took a pre-workout or something. That's what it's giving. It's giving pre-workout. Shit. I might need to turn some air on up in here because I am warm. God damn. This is other brand I drunk. Y'all, this other brand of kombucha, that junk got about 0.5% alcohol in there. Now, I really felt some type of way because I was driving while drinking it. So I felt the way. And y'all know I ain't really been drinking. I'm not really on the alcohol thing these days. But I kind of feel away because it's like, it's right there. And I should have completely read their bottle, honestly. So it's kind of my fault. But at the same time, I'm going to show it to y'all. Hold on. I don't know why I ain't bring this bottle over here. Y'all, I'm hot. Let me cut this fan on. Let me cut this damn AC on. Shit. Whew. Your girl is having a moment. Ugh. You get it? Damn. But yes, y'all, this is the organic kind by Simple Truth. See, y'all, it contains. Man, I was kind of in my feelings about this shit. Number one, like I said, I'm driving and stuff, and I got somebody that caught me. This one got a little alcohol, and I know it ain't much. Number one, I wasn't carded for this, so I'm just saying, you have to really be careful of the stuff that's in here. And yeah, got all kinds of little things in there, but not nothing probably too crazy. Just some stuff I wanted to try, because I'm like, what is the big hype about this kombucha? Is that how you pronounce that? Yeah. I mean, this one is kind of good. This one kind of reminds me of the, I'm gonna tell y'all, the apple cider vinegar, that stuff, that purple stuff, like y'all know the apple cider vinegar flavors. They got like a couple different flavors. It kind of tastes just like that apple cider vinegar, purple, whatever it is. Anyway, I know this is so off subject. Okay, back to the story, y'all. So tonight's story time will be about the time that I dated a guy that was a freshly out of prison ex-con. Yes, y'all. And matter of fact, he might have been out every bit of 3 weeks. And I didn't find that out till after I met some members of his family at a function. So y'all, let's get into it. So this particular night, I was hanging out with my mom. We was at the casino across the bridge in Arkansas, which at the time it was still operating, I think, as like the dog track, because that's what it is, like a track where they race dogs and, you know, they bid on them and get money and all that from dogs and stuff like that. And it was still part casino as well. So they was building the casino up. So, I mean, And I used to go over there with her, off and on. We would go every few weekends or whatever. And, because nobody else would really go. Like, my siblings and none wouldn't really go with her. But I would go because I didn't mind being out and being in that little scenery. It was cool. I'm not a outdoorsy person. I don't want to be in the mix of everybody. That's really not my thing, even though I used to party like crazy. But that was a different time. But during this time, I'm a little older. And, it was still a decent crowd, but it wasn't crazy because this is, these some adults. Ain't no young folk. But anyway, so yeah, I'm there with her. And never in a million years do I be thinking I'm going to hook up with guys that always try to talk to me over there. And they definitely were. I was always getting hit on. Guys was always asking for money. In my mind, I'm thinking they want to hook up with me because they think I got money to blow at the casino. But they was always asking for my number. But that was the very reason why I wouldn't talk to nobody. Because I'm like, man, nah, this dude probably think I'm big money over here because I'm at the casino. And I would see some of the same guys at the casino when I would be there. So they probably really felt like that. And I felt like they just wanted to talk to me for that. And shit, at the time, I probably did have some money. But I went for the show there with no dudes over there, with nobody over there. It don't really matter. So the point I'm trying to make is that I wasn't trying to hook up with nobody over there. I wasn't trying to be friends with nobody over there. I would see them and smile and laugh and joke with them when I would see them, and that was that on that. But this one particular night, for some reason, I don't know, maybe I was just going through a phase. I was bored as hell, and I was talking to this guy, and we just was hitting it out. We was, having little drinks and things like that, and somehow we ended up getting some food, and yeah, I was over there for a while. Just imagine, my mom would be over there for a minute. So I was off talking to this guy, and I was getting some food, having a little conversation, tall, dark, very handsome, whatever, thick guy. He was a little older than me. And, we was vibing. So I gave him my number. So as that time went, the night went on, I'm just like, this man ain't finna call me. I ain't thinking nothing like that. Cause again, my mind, I'm like, if he do reach out to me, he probably want to come back to the casino. That's all I was thinking. But no, he actually wanted to hang out with me, and we actually was hanging out. And he actually wanted to hang out with me, and we actually did hang out. But the very first time he came and got me, y'all, and I tried not to hold this against him, because he was actually honest with me. He as we have a conversation on the phone, he's like, I ain't been too long out of prison. He did tell me that in the beginning. So, I wasn't really tripping. And I was kind of like, and I ain't gonna say intrigue is the word. Intrigue is not the word, y'all. I was kind of interested in knowing more about, his experience, because I've talked to guys that's been in jail, but never have I been that close with somebody that's been in prison and that was open to tell, their story or whatever. And so, like I said, he was upfront with me about that part of it. And I don't know, it just never dawned on me to ask him how long has he been out and how long he really was in there. Like, I wasn't really digging too deep, and I felt like over time we would get to that. Like, I was like, we'll eventually talk about that because we're going to hang out and stuff like that. So I didn't dig too deep about all that. I just kind of know more about things that he's trying to do now to better his situation. Even though it's hard for people to get out and have a second chance, but he really was in a position where he was offered a second chance for real. Like, I guess he knew some people that knew some people. So he was on a new job. So I was liking that for him. I was happy for him about that. Things seem to be panning out for him, but he just one of the very few that has been given the opportunity to start their life over without judgment. I was really happy for him about that and rooted for him to be successful. Because there's so many that don't. The first time we was going to hang out comes around. Y'all, this man picked me up, but he had to get, I think this though he called it was a friend. I think he called him his brother, but turns out this guy was just a friend. He had his friend come pick me up. Y'all, he was not in the car with this man. My crazy ass should have not got in that car with him. I should have ran because he could have been sending this man to kidnap me or anything, y'all. But again, baby, a lot of us, we lived life on the edge. Like, we was just stupid as hell. But Thankfully, did nothing happen to me. But y'all, that was the first red flag. I don't know. Maybe, like I said, I was just giving this man too much of the benefit of the doubt. Like, I was just giving him too much leeway, for real, for real. Like, never have I ever been like that with folks. Like, I'm not going, baby. I be trying to run with stuff. I don't know. Like I said, maybe I was just in a place where I must have been a little lonely and a little desperate. Like, because that's what it gave to me. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. So, yes, I get to over there where he's staying. And I'm like, why didn't you get in the car for him to come pick me up? Why would you send him to come pick me up? And he didn't even tell me he was sending somebody to come pick me up. He's like, on my way. I'm like, so what was that supposed to be? My driver or something? Like, you sent the car to send me? I said, what you do? Call yourself, sit in the car to come get me? It's like, no. He's just there. My homeboy, he stay over there. So I told him, come scoop you up. I said, well, you could have told me that you was sending your friends to come get me instead of you coming, because what if I wouldn't have gotten this car? Or what if I would have gotten this car and he would have took me somewhere else? I was like, come on. I wasn't too mad, but I did feel some type of way, because I'm like, you know, as I sat there and I talked to him, I'm like, they really could have turned totally different. Like I said, I know you're not trying to impress me, and I'm not expecting you to impress me. I'm not expecting you to impress. I said, I know it's not a situation where we're here to try to impress each other. I said, but your first impression is everything. I said, the fact that you sent somebody instead of you coming to meet me, and then you sent a stranger to my house. I don't know this man. You know what I'm saying? I said, that makes me feel a different way about you. I was like, you got to do something to make that up. Like, you can't be sending random people to me. I said, if they going to come, you need to be in the car with them. So, you know, we have that little spat. Time goes on. I'm just sitting in his room. And y'all, of course, this man was trying everything in his power. He was laying back on the bed. And you know how some people just have this stench about them? Like, he just smelled like dick and balls. I'm just going to put it out there. He smelled like dick and balls. I'm like, did this man wash his ass? And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, shit, he could have been hooking up with somebody before he came with me. And y'all, come to find out, that day, he was with somebody else. That's why he had his homeboy come get me. Somebody else was over to that house, because I had went to the bathroom and I heard somebody, one of the roommates in the room, like, dang, that's 2 in 1. This nigga get out of prison. This ninja get out of prison and he got chicks like out the wazoo. Just, you know, the talk people be having about men hooking up. Y'all know how the men have they banter or whatever. But I'm just like, oh, heck no. And then again, I'm hearing this, and then I'm in his room with this freak, extra freaked out, trying to have sex with me. First of all, you done been in prison for a very long time. You know, in my mind, I'm thinking it, because I'm really not sure exactly how long he's been in there. No, matter of fact, he did tell me. So yes, you have been in prison for a very long time. And mind you, he's a little older than me. So you was in there when I was pretty much still a teenager. Y'all, the man was in there. He was in there for a while. And then on top of that, you smell like booty. So in my mind, I'm thinking like, they can be boy booty. Because you've been in prison for a long time. They can be some boy booty. How I know? So yeah, I don't know. I just really felt the way. And I definitely was like, I'm ready to go. I did not stay that long. I might have stayed there maybe 3 hours. And I came up with some excuse that tends to have worked. Because he definitely took me back to the house. And of course, that friend was around. He was there kicking it with some chick over there. It was a lot of, as a matter of fact, it was a lot of different people over there. No lie. So, you know, of course, some chick had rolled with us and him. And they took me back to the house. So, you know, of course, I'm on the phone talking with him throughout the week, whatever. And he's trying everything in his power to convince me to come back around. It's like, I'm going to come get you this time. I'm going to use my folks' car. And we just can hang out over there in your city. Because, mind you, I told y'all, I met him at the casino. The casino at this time was over at, well, it's still there. The casino is in West Memphis, Arkansas, which is not too far from where I was staying or whatever. But it's still like in West Memphis, Arkansas. It's across the bridge, a whole other state. And so he was like, we'll just stay over in Memphis and we can hang out around there, because I'm sure you know the top spots to hang out. And I'm like, yeah, I do. I was still out just a little bit, y'all. So it was always something to do, you know, something where we didn't have to spend a lot of money or no money at all, because he freshly on a job and I'm really not trying to spend my money on this dude, like for real. But it don't really matter. So, you know, we out, we hanging out, you know, he's trying everything in his power to get back around me. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. But some came up to where that couldn't happen. he said something he had to do. And I was like, you know what? That's cool. That's fine. Because honestly, I was not trying to be back around this man. Because for one, he turned me off trying to hunch on me in that room for real. Like, dude, you don't even really know me. I just met you. Like, we not finna move that fast. And again, you a man out of prison, dude. Heck no. In my mind, you got stuff going on for real. Not saying that I'm going to always feel the way. Honestly, I'm just hanging out. I don't see really no future. I never saw that. I don't think that far ahead for real when it comes to me meeting certain people. I'm not thinking like that. I'm just hanging out. That's all I really want to do is hang out, go eat, drink here and there, whatever. And, just chill out, go to some big parties together. That's all, because them folks party, And I've known this because in between the time of me really not hanging out with him, that's what they did or whatever. And shit, we would be on the phone and he would be at some party. I'm like, go back to your folks, because why are you on the phone with me? But I think he was just really trying to show that he really liked me and he wanted something more. But I was not having that shit though. But anyway, so time goes on and eventually he convinces me to come hang out with him at this function his family was having. Somebody in his family was having this function. And so I agree, and it was during the winter time. Matter of fact, this was around Christmas, y'all. This was around Christmas. And this had to be like, yeah, this was Christmas Eve. I hung out with him instead of hanging out with my folks, he convinced me to come hang out with him Christmas Eve. And so he gets me or whatever. I'm looking all cute and fly. And then of course, I love a good house party. It's his family and friends. And I like a chill vibe. I know they're going to be playing all the old goodies and stuff like that. Going to have some good food and drinks, baby. I'm all for the free food and the drinks. Yes, I'm all for that. I was all for that. So I went. Don't y'all know when we get there, it's a whole family reunion? I said, no, this man did. I thought it was just going to be like a little chill kickback. I mean, I knew it was a possibility. It may be a nice crowd, but the whole goddamn family. So now I'm feeling some type of way, like kind of uncomfortable. And I'm not, well, I ain't going to say I'm not a shy person. I am, but I ain't. When it's a large crowd of people, I tend to kind of be like very, very extra to myself and reserve. Like, you got to make me feel welcome for me to feel open to want to come to talk to you. And I hate to be somewhere where I really don't know nobody but you. And then you got all these people staring like, who this woman, who them? Because that's definitely what they was giving me. And then, people was coming up talking to me. He did introduce me to some folks, but not everybody, because it was loud and everybody was drinking and smoking. And then you got some people come up talk to me. And somebody, a cousin of his, I will never forget this guy. He was like, Zan, you must be different. I was like, what you talking about? He said, cause, you don't know about him and all that, just giving me the back. I'm like, yeah, I know he was in prison, this, that, and the third. I said, we just cool. We kicking it. We just hanging out. He said, oh, man. He said, because I can't see how he pulled somebody like you. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I just can't see how he pulled somebody like you. Basically, because I was super dolled all up. Probably pretty much giving bougie bitch for real. But, not just because of the way I was looked, but probably my demeanor. And it was only because I'm uncomfortable. Like, I didn't realize it was going to be a fucking family reunion. I would have never agreed to something like this. And that's weird that somebody would have a family reunion Christmas Eve. I don't know. I guess. Maybe people do stuff like that. My folks have never had a family reunion during Christmas Eve, so I don't know nothing about this. But anyway, so yeah, I had a good time. I'm not going to lie. But he is not the only person that entire time I was there. Yeah, I'm not lying to you. About 5 people asked me, how y'all meet? You must be desperate or something. Because why would you be with him? Like, I'm like, damn, what is wrong with him? I kept asking people, what is really wrong? I said, and mind you, he did tell me some things about, his prison sentence and why he was in there and stuff like that. It wasn't no murders or nothing like that, but it was definitely possession of things, some other stuff. I'm not going to go into detail of all the other things. But, it's like people was really trying to shade him for real, or I guess giving me a heads up, because it wasn't necessarily the fact that he had been to prison and got all that stuff going on, had all that stuff going on. It was the fact that this man had kids and he didn't tell me nothing about y'all. The Ninja had kids. That's usually the first thing people talk about. That's one of the first things you should talk about when you meeting somebody new. And this man didn't just have 1 or 2. This man had 6 or 7. And I ain't trying to be with nobody like that. This man had 6. Granted, they were by 2 different women. I will give him that. That is very rare. And I know that's not nothing to brag about, but it's so many men have 6 or 7 kids with 6 or 7 different damn women. But y'all... And so this particular night, I just felt like it wasn't the time for me to confront him about it. But I definitely did confront him about it. And so y'all tune back in for the other half of this story, because it gets a little crazy, a little juicier. Y'all probably gonna imagine some stuff that might be popped to pop off or whatever, because I definitely did say something to him about it on the way to him dropping me off back home, because I definitely went home. I was not finna stay over in no Arkansas with him. I didn't care what time in the morning it was, and it definitely was late as hell. Probably been about 4 o'clock in the morning when I was going back, because when I say I had a good time, we party hard over there. Of course, I was watching what I was drinking, but I really wasn't watching what I was drinking. But during that time, baby, I was drinking heavily, so I could definitely hold my liquor. But yes, y'all tune back in for the other half of this story. I hope y'all stay there for the duration of this video, and I hope y'all continue to come back and stay subscribed to my channel. Thank you to those that continuously hype my videos. Make sure y'all turn on your post bell notifications so you'll know when I do post again. And I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye. I must have been a little lonely and a little desperate. Baby, a lot of us, we lived life on the edge. Like, we was just stupid as hell. But thankfully, did nothing happen to me. But y'all, that was the first red flag. I don't know. Maybe, like I said, I was just giving this man too much of the benefit of the doubt. Like, I was just... To catch up on any prior story times that were mentioned in today's video, make sure you click the links in the description below. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel.